Thank you for having me. As Helen said, I'm Dwayne. I'm a 54-year-old gay man. It's an important part to the story, okay? Because when I saw that the theme for the story was, Story Slam was judge, I was like, okay, gay men judge. They judge if you were too fat, if you're too thin, if you're too tall, if you're too short, if you have hair or don't have hair. If you know a gay man or you are a gay man, we all have this one story. And it's the story of the first time you went to a gay bar. It's important to note on the judgment part because my story was in 1980. And in 1980, there wasn't a place for us to go. We couldn't go to a restaurant with a buddy and greet him in the restaurant with a hug and a kiss. I couldn't go on a date in a theater and hold somebody's hand. There just wasn't that place to go because people would judge. So the gay bar is the significant place for the gay man to go, especially back in the 80s. So as I said, it was 1980 and I was 16 years old. So the first thing you're going to think is, how did I get into a bar? Well, I looked pretty much like I do now, except not gray. I had a big, thick Tom Selleck Magnum PI, if those of you remember, mustache, and I had hair on my chest. I'm Italian. So I looked like I was 26. And like most horny teenage boys, I went and bought a naughty magazine. And I started looking through the magazine and realizing that they were showing a guy and he was sponsored by a bar in the state, and it gave the name of the bar and the address. So when I started looking, Alaska, Arkansas, Arizona, and then I was like, oh my gosh, because I was from Maryland. There was a gay bar in Maryland, I couldn't believe it. So I see that it's the Hippo on Eager Street in Baltimore, Maryland. So guess where I went Friday night, okay? So I get all dressed in my fancy Jordache jeans. Remember Jordache? Okay. I thought I was looking sweet. So today it would take me about 20 minutes to get there. That night it took me an hour and a half. So I get to the parking lot and I'm sitting in front of the parking lot. Now the only thing I know about a gay bar is Al Pacino's movie Cruising. You ever seen it? So Al Pacino goes undercover, he's an undercover cop, goes undercover into the leather bars in New York City. Why? Because there's a serial killer killing all the leather queens. So I'm now sitting in front of the Hippo in Baltimore, watching all the people go in looking for the serial killers. So finally I got enough nerve and I walked inside and I walk in the bar and immediately I see the pool table, the bar, and there's a big video screen with George Michael, Wham, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. And I'm so excited. This is my spot, man. I'm digging this. So I get a beer and I'm standing there drinking the beer and, shaking my little Jordache jeans, going back and forth. And I notice that the people coming in the door aren't coming over by the pool table side. They're going over to the left and down a hall that I don't know what's over there. So I said, well, I gotta check this out. So I walk over and go down the dark hall. And as soon as I get into that section, there's this dance floor and it's lit up and it's beaten to the beat of the music. And I feel like I just walked into Saturday Night Fever. I mean, I got my John Travolta groove going on. And I'm in heaven, right? This is it, man. I'm not getting judged. People are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. So I'm standing up against the rail and doing the Jordache shake again, And then I look to the left and there he is, the man. Just Adonis of a man that I thought. So he's standing there, he's kind of short, he's stocky, he's got muscles. He's got on a tank top, tight jeans, and boots. And I just think he's the greatest thing ever. So I kind of, make my way over a little bit to him. A little bit more, and I said something very poetic to him, like, hi. And then he turns and he looks at me and he says the words that I'll never forget. He said, don't you dare, Dwayne. He called me by name. I'm 16 years old. I am devastated. The blood has just drained from my body. I am scared to death. I'm underage. I'm in a gay bar. Nobody knows I'm gay, of course. And I'm like, oh, how do you know me? How do you know me? And he looks at me and he says, Dwayne, I was your 3rd grade teacher. The first man I ever hit on in a bar was my 3rd grade teacher. Mr. Sandzone, Mr. Sandzone. Shh. Call me Damien, call me Damien. Okay, Damien, thank you. So I said, how did you know it was me? And he says, you have the same eyes you had in 3rd grade. Isn't that sweet? But the moral of the story is, don't judge your 3rd grade teacher by the book of the cover. Okay? Thank you all very much.